sometimes it's better, if I just start and then not say anything, and then continue to not say anything. Next time maybe I should stream an entire, like, actually I'll do an entire stream with the microphone off, and then I'll just make fun of everyone that's typing in the chat, and one day I'll stream with the mic off and so make fun of everyone. I just, yeah, that's what I'll do for sure. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, boys and girls. How are we all doing today? So today we are doing something slightly new, because we need to, because otherwise we are getting into the weird issue where I'm unable to plan properly because you guys keep lying to me, right? Anyway, so what we're doing today is we're going to actually hold on. We're going to do it like this. We're going to do a schedule. So we're going to run, as I talked about on Discord last night, we are going to actually run the entire weekly auction live now. And the idea is that by doing that, we will now be able to simply we will simply just get that out of the way, and once that is out of the way, I don't have to go and look and check in all sorts of different places to make sure that we that everything works, right? Or to know what I'm doing. So just give me one mild moment while I actually, let me change this first. Yes, I know what I'm doing, don't worry. There we go. Okay. Alright. See? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday is dedicated towards the organizational. So from now on, every Sunday, what we will do is we will have both a conversation stream, and at the same time, I'll run the for lack of a better word, the auction, the bidding process. And of course, I might, given that it's now being run publicly, I might also comment on it, sort of in the meantime, right? That makes sense, right? Good. So let's say 3 minutes. Sundays conversation and running the auction process. Sponsorship process. There we go. Okay. Well, I mean, we do have some stuff to talk about. In particular, oh, that's weird. Oh no, that's not work. In particular, I did want to talk about some of the stuff that we touched on yesterday, right? Because yesterday we read Badget. Well, we read a different version of Badget, or a different work from Badget, which was the English Constitution, and the talk of the dignified and efficient forms of government, right? And the idea that the cabinet, as it existed back then, was a link between the was an amalgamation, or maybe not an amalgamation, but rather the creation of the executive by the legislative, and therefore is essentially the legislative body really sort of being in control of the executive, but creating something that is outside of its control. Give me one quick second. Well, yeah, I mean, it's always fun, like these types of things, right? Like, actually, let me go back. Fusion of legislative and executive functions may seem dry and a small matter. The source chosen as associates. Complete fusion of the executive and legislative powers. Yes, I mean the first auction is already, or the first sponsorship is already underway, right? So you guys can start bidding. Well, ideally we get it over with in about a 30-minute process. We have 6 days, and so 5 minutes per sounds about right. Dignified. So obviously dignified is of course Lizzie, or at least in Badge's time it was Queen Victoria, and in this day and age it's Lizzie. And then like, does Charles count as a dignified person? What's the timing at 6 minutes? Does Charles count as a dignified person? And I would argue that yes, he does. Yes, he does. But we're using sort of a different understanding of what it means to be dignified, right? Because we're not strictly talking about dignity as it exists in our modern sense. Excuse me. But we're talking excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. Give me 1 second. Just going to blow my nose. Yeah. Oh, you're so kind. No, thank you. I do have I do have my own sort of antihistamines and stuff. I don't usually take them though. I don't take antihistamines mostly because they sort of make it a little bit harder for me to work, right? No, I understand that we have the non-drowsy stuff, but the non-drowsy non-drowsy stuff actually my biology is a little bit strange, but the non-drowsy stuff actually I can still feel it working. And so the non-drowsy stuff actually inhibits my ability to work, right? So non-drowsy allergy, what do you call it? Inhibitors still inhibit my ability to work, and so that's why I usually don't take them, because it's just not useful for me. Muses ability to work. Okay. Well, I mean, that is as may well be. But like it's just a little bit of allergies. If it were worse, then yeah, I would consider doing something about it. But it's not, right? And if it inhibits my ability to work properly, and like some of your and now we're talking to a year 1 student, some of your progenitors have come to rely on me to give them honest opinions, as if they can't find that anywhere else, but apparently they can't. When they yeah, so when they're unable to get honest opinions, they tend to, you know, well, you know what they can be like, right? Like some of our boys and girls are so used to getting what they want that they can get mean spirited. But also, you know, like they depend on honest opinion to make proper decisions, so it makes sense. Well, see, that's actually a little bit of a problem there, right? Because when you put it like that, then yes, they. So actually, I will say this. What time? Yeah, I will say this. Part of the reason why they do come to me is also because, uh, I tend to consider things not just from a single discipline, right? When I give an opinion, a measured, um, how do I say this? When I give a measured opinion on something, it is usually a multidisciplinary opinion based on. I mean, you guys know my qualifications, so when I give an opinion, it is almost always multidiscipline. Disciplinary. There we go. I think that's how you spell it. It's all good. And so that's why they value my opinion, right? Like, or I mean, let's not say they value my opinion, that they accept that I have an opinion that might be worth something. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Badget. Badget, efficient, dignified. Right. What I wanted to say was this, which we never got to yesterday. 12. Badget. The English Constitution. Yeah. So what I wanted to say was this. The dignified. What did he call it? The dignified branch of government? No, it was something else. The dignified part of government. This part appeals to the broad population, right? What did I say yesterday about it? Oh yeah, I said the U.S. Constitution appeals to the broadest base, but that's not really that particularly interesting. Essentially, what I wanted to say was that in the English Constitution, there is the dignified part of the English Constitution is the monarchy, right? I think that's self-explanatory. In the English Constitution, this is the monarchy. And so the idea is that the monarchy doesn't necessarily have to be efficient. It doesn't have to actually carry out a lot of work. Does that kind of make sense? Like it doesn't have to forcefully, or rather, it doesn't have to, do all of the nitty-gritty of government, of bureaucracy and all of that, because it's an important part of the government that actually rallies the country, right? It gives the government legitimacy. There we go. Right, makes sense, right? So in the English Constitution, this is the monarchy. In the, let's say, the American Constitution, this is the Constitution, right? and here we see a mild problem with the American way of governance, right? And that is that once we have essentially in the office of the president combined both the efficient and the dignified, and only some of you can see me like move my hands around, but we have in the office of the president combined dignified and efficient parts of the government. And I hope it is obvious why this is dangerous. Oop, what did I do? One moment, just it's down a little bit. There we go. Well, yes, exactly. Combined. In effect, asking the venerable part to also administer. And what is the problem when we bringing? I do also want to say this is treated as founding fathers, and so this is to me a problem of the American government. Simply, it is. Ooh, yes, thank you for reminding me. Do that. Let me move that over here. There we go. Okay. That's the schedule. It's covering my ear, but that's okay. Asking the venerable part to administer, and so that's why partisanship becomes so strong, or partisanship became so strong first in America compared to everywhere else, because you are essentially asking, you're essentially bringing religion into the executive branch, bringing political conviction, i.e. religion, not religion, pseudo-religion into the executive, right? And so that means that I don't want to use Newt Gingrich, but I am going to, even though the effect really started much earlier with Barry Goldwater, right? But essentially, Newt Gingrich saw the ability to rally based on religious pseudo-religion as opposed to politics. That's not to say American politics was completely free of pseudo-religion beforehand, but I think I would argue that Newt, when he was Speaker of the House, right? Not Speaker. He was Speaker of the House, right? During the Clinton era. Yes, 95 to 90. Excellent. Really sort of started that whole process of creating, no, not creating, but like really showing that partisanship and appeal to the broad population, and here we have to quote Badgett, quoting Badgett, uneducated, right, population. Remember Badgett was saying that every society is built off a mountain, with the base of the mountain being sort of the less educated, and then going upwards to the mountain. Essentially, it's a population pyramid based on education, right? So yeah, so when we start appealing to the base, obviously in a democracy, the base has the most the most votes. We call it the base anyway. Exactly, all of that good stuff. Based on pseudo religion as opposed to policy is what I wanted to say. Yes. Why are you guys such weebs? Come on. No, I don't get it either, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Efficient part of government. Well, it. So I'm going to leave the rest of that particular debate, whether it was Newt or going back further and all of that. I'm going to leave that part of the debate for afterwards when we can when people can we'll open the debate channel on this, and people can post once every 3 minutes or something like that, to have that debate. So we are going to move on to that. From that. Well, I mean, to be fair, some of you can come across as kind of uneducated, right? Like, what do you want me to... What do I think? Well, I like this separation between dignified and efficient parts of government, because I do believe it to essentially be true, right? I'll write this down. What are we? We're at 22 minutes. Muses. All governments need legitimacy to function, right? If a government does not have legitimacy, then it doesn't really work. It's just going to slowly degrade into civil war or into revolution, right? Like, it's, you can consider it this Chinese thought of the mandate of heaven, right? Like, the Chinese dynasties, the emperors, they derived their mandate from being the son of heaven, right? Like, the emperor was known very, very much so as the son of heaven, and that is where that is the dignified portion that gives the government legitimacy. And in that case, the dignified part of the government was also combined with the executive branch of the government, right? The not executive, efficient part of the government, right? So when we talk about the efficient part, when we talk about the different parts of government, actually, I should put this down. The efficient part of government actually includes the executive. Ooh, I can't spell. Executive, legislative, and judicial branches, right? And in political theory, in political science, we consider executive, legislative, and judicial branches to be the government, but these things rest on the foundations. Efficient part of government rests on the foundations of the legitimacy brought by the dignified part, right? I think that is fairly self-explanatory. Well, no, like if you think about it, that is really what this is about, right? Like, it is, it's, think of the dignified part of government not as government itself, but the reason the government is able to exist, right? So it doesn't have to be a monarchy, right? It doesn't have to be the founding fathers. It could be some sort of constitution. It could be the Emperor of Japan. It could be the pseudo mandate of heaven that was granted to the Chinese Communist Party for bringing about economic reform that brought the highest number of people out of poverty that we have seen in essentially the modern world, right? Like in there we can't really argue with those numbers, and so we have to give at least some credit for bringing that country and a lot of the that's not to say that society doesn't have a lot of problems. Absolutely, I'll be the first to admit that, but it did bring about the greatest amount of change in standard of living for the greatest amount of people that we have seen in human history, and that is, you know, that these are absolute values, yes. And so, like, that's not to say that there's no other issues, exactly, right? But it is I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. No, no, that's not how it works. Well, see, I'm. No, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. It is my personal opinion. It is my personal opinion that Europe is different from everywhere else. To modern civilized, no, not civilized, to modern, let's say G7, not G7. Let's go a bit further. Let's go and say about G. Actually, let me see the member composition. G20 members. The chairman is Jokowi. Oh wow, okay. G20 members, Argentina. Wow. Okay, I don't want to say G20. That's not what I want to say at all. Okay. So, what I want to say is, oh, I know. A better way of saying it is NATO, mostly NATO and NATO adjacent members. Let's call it that, right? So we're talking about North Americans. We're talking about Western Europeans. Exactly. So sort of the quintessential quote unquote West. To the West, for obvious reasons, Europe is different compared to anywhere else in the world. I already did say it was for good reason, right? To the West, i.e., NATO adjacent. Let's call it NATO plus, shall we? NATO plus countries. Europe holds special place compared to other places. I think that's very that's it is very true, right? Because that's where most of the people live. That's where most of the conflicts that happened that involve NATO plus countries. Well, I mean, that's partially why the Stan countries, right? So like we're talking Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, you know, all of those, Turkmenistan, all of those countries have had much less real interaction than Eastern European post-Soviet countries, right? So we're talking Poland, Slovakia, the Baltics. We're talking Hungary-ish, former Yugoslavia, you know, Bulgaria, Romania, all of these countries, Albania, have had much less. These countries have had much more, both foreign direct investment and more FDI and attention and the Stan countries. The European post-Soviet more than Stan countries for good reason, right? Like we're not saying that like it was unreasonable for them. I think it's done for good reason. Oh yes, let me. No, these things aren't set in stone. These things aren't set in stone. The bidding, we've talked about it before. If there is a dramatic need to change the way that we do things, we will. That's fine. Yes, well, we have to. Unfortunately, it's sponsored. But yeah, so this was nice, right? In terms of running the auctions or the bidding process, as well as we will have to one day. Oh, maybe we should talk about corporation setup. There we go. We'll have to talk about this sort of in more detail next weekend, next Friday. Yeah. Cool. Let's not go there. No, we won't go there today. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Fantastic. Yeah, no, we're done for today. So do we have any final questions, comments, concerns, character assassinations? Excellent. Fantastic. Well, I'm glad you had fun. I think personally it was all right for me. Yeah. We'll do this again next week. Oh, that's a good idea. We can also bid on Sunday topic. Yeah, we can do that. Or actually, maybe we'll bid on the Sunday topic on Saturday. Saturday. If only because oops. The news cycle is much faster now. So much faster. It's very fast now. So who knows what will happen in a week, right? So we want to leave ourselves a little bit of space to discuss things that happen during the week, as opposed to, the previous Sunday bidding on next Sunday's topic, right? We want to talk a little bit more about current affairs rather than me talking about some guy who was writing stuff in 1860, right? Anyway, we are done for today. We The question was, can I play something at the same time as we do this? The short answer is probably. The long answer is I probably don't want to, because I have to keep an eye out on the auctions. And if I'm even if I'm doing Minecraft, right, and I'm trying to build something, I still think that I will run into issues with missing some of the text that's going on in the what am I saying? Yes, that the bidding process. Yes. Anyway, okay, we'll talk about this later. Thank you very much for watching. In conclusion, please download Firefox. Please don't do... we shall see all of you tomorrow. Also, I reserve the right to cancel any one of these broadcasts in case I need to do something that day, right? We're clear on that. We have always been clear on that. Just making sure that we know that's the case, right? Just in case I have work. The timing isn't set. The topics are only advisory. But if we do those, we will do exactly what was bid on, because obviously, exactly, and also the points will come out right before the streaming starts, so you're not getting charged for anything before that. Cool. Thank you very much for watching. In conclusion, please download Firefox, please don't do Chrome, and I shall see all of you tomorrow. And tomorrow we are doing Persona 5 Strikers. There we go. Okay, that's it. Bye.